So just when we thought that Nintendo was done stepping on rakes and you know, stepping on every single landmine possible, they've decided to take it up a notch, okay? You think they were done? You think they had had enough after the initial waves of blowback, after their CEO, basically not CEO, their president of Nintendo America was like, just buy the old one, brokey, loser. No, they're not done. They're still doubling down, okay? It gets better. I didn't hear no bell. Exactly, Jimothy. It gets better. There is an 8-year-old game. A great game, to be fair. Breath of the Wild. It was a breath of fresh air when it came out. It basically sold the original Switch single-handedly, despite being cross-generational, because nobody owned a Wii U. It was a tremendous game. It was great. It also featured a good amount of DLC, including DLC that gave you a freaking motorcycle. If you've never played the DLC, you should. It's a good time. There's one where you have to like go match up like on certain locations and take pictures and stuff. That DLC sucks, but the motorcycle was cool. Well, the sort of generally agreed upon thing is that once a game is from the previous generation, you don't get to sell it for full price unless there's like a remake. Even remasters, the general pricing convention is that it needs to be discounted. That's just generally how it works. You know, paying a full AAA pricing for something that is going on a decade old just feels bad, man. The exception to this rule has historically, though, been Nintendo, because they just kind of do whatever they want. And they don't really put their games on sale. They don't really do that. You'll still pay. I bet you right now, ARMS, that stupid freaking game that I'm still pissed I bought, I bet you this is still full price. What do you want to bet? I bet you it's still full price right now. Loading. Come on. It's still full price, dude. I cannot believe it. Launched June 16th, 2017. ARMS is still full price, okay? ARMS is, okay? So this is generally a Nintendo thing. A lot of other companies, when they have a game that is deeply beloved, they sort of, you know, they make a ton of money, and then they just take this approach where they're like, as a thank you to you guys, here's some free updates. We just a second ago were talking about how KCD2 is adding the hardcore mode for free. Like, they're just going to be updating the game for free with a hardcore mode, a totally new thing that they probably honestly could have sold as a DLC. They could have sold this for $15. People would have bought it because they love it, but they're just giving it away for free because they appreciate their fans who made KCD2 so successful. Not Nintendo, though. Not Nintendo. What Nintendo is doing is they are relaunching Breath of the Wild on the Switch 2 at full price, no discounts, no nothing. And in fact, with everything in the package, including those DLC, it will be $90. Now, how do we break this down? Well, we can break it down in the form of the original Breath of the Wild costs $60. Okay. Plus $20. Okay. That means your total cost to buy it new will be $80. Okay. However, there's a Switch 2 enhanced edition of the game with better performance and graphics. And if you own the Switch 1 Breath of the Wild, you can pay $10 to upgrade. So over the course of the lifespan, you will have paid $90. If you do not have the original, Switch 2 Breath of the Wild costs $70 because it builds in that upgrade cost on top of the $60. However, it does not include the DLC for the now 8-year-old game, which would be another, again, $20 on top of that. So even though they have had this game out for 8 years, there's a sequel which is even bigger and better. They are not discounting anything at all. They are relaunching it at full price. And it's just like, this is again one of those points where it's really hard to argue that this is anything but greed. Like, it just is, okay? And I'm somebody that historically has not loved throwing that word around because I feel like people overuse it. But this is pretty much a textbook example. They're like, yeah, we're going to keep charging $20 for the DLC. Yeah, suck it up, loser. Because they know that, or at least they're hoping, that there's going to be people who get into the Switch 2, and that's their first introduction to the Switch hardware and to the Switch platform. And they're going to be like, oh, I've heard great things about Breath of the Wild. And so they're going to buy it at $90. And they're like, everybody else, yeah, they probably already own it. So we're going to still get more money out of them with the $10 upgrade. Yeah. Yes, an upgrade, a lot of people would have given these out for free, but still, so much for Nintendo being pro-consumer. I don't think they've ever been pro-consumer, like ever. I don't think Nintendo has ever given a crap about any of that. That's why, Frank, I mean, it really is remarkable that Nintendo has this reputation of being family friendly and fun loving. You know, oh, it's Mario and Peach. That's so fun. They have that reputation, but they are not. Okay. They are like some of the most cutthroat corporate sharks you can imagine. And there were even things back in the day, like in my particular niche, in my industry, in content creation, where people were wanting to make YouTube videos about Nintendo games. But what Nintendo did is they would go around and strike videos that were showing gameplay footage of their games. And the only way you could get those videos back up is if you were a member of their specific like creator program. And this creator program back in the day, I don't know what it is today, but back in the day, they just straight up took like half of the money from all of those videos, just like half of it. They might have calmed down on it since. I think I've heard rumblings from people that cover Nintendo stuff that they don't do that, at least as bad anymore. Or if you're a member of their creator program, they take less of a cut, whatever it is. But either way, it made it so like, I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I'm good. I don't want to support that. I don't want to cover it. I don't want anything to do with it. It's just insane. They still have streaming guidelines you have to follow. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it's like they don't want certain types of creators. They don't want people who are dangerous for the brand. You know, we couldn't have that. Imagine if people look at our brand and think anything negative. Oh, like it's just, they've never been your friend. Okay, never. They have a lot of very talented developers. They make a lot of really fun games. But when you compare their business practices to every other big player in the industry, it's not even close. They are far and away like the worst offenders, and they have been for a long, long time. Nintendo's blacklisting you right now. It's please. I don't need their stuff. They haven't given me access to anything anyways. Like I'm literally not losing anything, and I would say this stuff to their face too. I mean, it's just like, it's just laughable. And it's too bad, because if they took a more pro-consumer approach, then I think it'd be one of the easiest companies to support because they have such good games. But until they don't, right? They have like Pokemon is steaming garbage recently, and it's just, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, no Mario review code for me. Yeah, oh shucks. Oh no. Bummer. Yeah, I've never been that interested in covering Nintendo stuff, partially because of their approach to it, but also it's just I appreciate the types of games that they are able to put out in the form of Mario and like the Zelda games and all that. But it's also their approach is to take their freaking time, and they'll release one Mario Kart game every generation and a half. You might get 2 Zelda games in a generation. That's cool. Maybe, if you get that, but it's not exactly something you can make a career out of. Rather give the money to King Cobra than Nintendo.
That's most definitely what's up.
Yeah, at least then that it's going to support like liquor companies and DoorDash. So there you go. He took my thing. Red flag.